I gotta say, I'm so interested in seeing what Zacian brings to the tables here as we hear the anthem of the great ancient beasts themselves. And of course, Garudon taking the stage rightfully with that theme on cue. That's what I like to hear, baby.
Yeah, so Groudon and Gouging Fire are going to hit the field, two partners in crime here, as Zacian is going to hit the field alongside Incineroar. Zacian looking like it is going to run away like a dog between, with its tail between its legs.
It's a little scared.
So yeah, Zacian not looking the best in this kind of matchup, as you know, Stefan can just throw out massive attacks. Sohaib gonna have to try to get some better support on the field. But if Zacian switches out here, gonna lose that Intrepid Sword.
Actually, what I just saw was the fastest selection of moves I have ever. Stefan knew immediately the plays that he wanted to make, and that was locked in so quickly. I'm actually quite intimidated on what we're going to see in this next round, because if we see this just go completely, like, unguarded, no protects, oh, okay, there's a switch in.
Yeah, withdrawing that Incineroar, going to go into Pelipper to reduce some of the damage, especially
That's
coming
a good
out
switch.
from the Gouging Fire. Zacian going to be sitting on the field here. I don't know how much damage it can do. It might go for a Sword Stance. It might go for a Protect, as we are going to see a
Terrestrialization.
Thank you. A Terrestrialization into that Grass type on Sohaib's side of the field. Going to be able to resist those Precipice Blades now, crucially.
Yes.
And while it is still going to be taking super effective damage from that Gouging Fire's Flare Blitz, in the sun,
the Behemoth Blade!
Or the rain, rather.
Ooh, that's a chunk of damage. Oh, that's not what I expected, but here comes the Howl. What a great defensive turn from Sohaib here. We have the grass typing that will deny some of the damage from this Precipice Blade, and then, of course, the flying type is just not going to be affected by it. But now, here we go, the damage. That's nothing.
Yeah.
That's nothing.
Nothing. And we did see the Howl come out, so that's +1. Pelipper now can go for a Y-Guard. Heck, it could even just go for damage here. If I had to guess, it would just be going for damage. Stefan's going to need to reset his Sun here if he wants to keep a foot in this race.
Right.
If that's the saying. And Zacian, although it was terrified on turn 1, saying, hey, come help me, Pelipper, help me. And that rain coming in clutch to help defend it, as well as a very smart terrestrialization from Sohaib here.
Yeah, what I love most about that move, too, is that it also covered for the fire typing in case the read on grass was going to happen. Because now we have the rain in play. That's going to reduce the damage from these fire moves going into the Zacian slot. Really well played here. And now we have Intimidate drops. We're going to deny that Howl just one more turn, force you to go for it again if you really want it. But what we're going to get instead is the helping hand. This is what we were asking for. Behemoth Blade will take out this very powerful Pokemon in the form of Groudon, but not looking too powerful anymore as they're leaving the field. Here we go. Yeah. But now let's see what this helping hand does. There's the Flare Blitz into that slot.
Yeah, not nearly enough to be able to take it out. Now back at -1, even though the Howl was there. 2 Intimidates is going to drop it down to -1. In the rain, and even though it's super effective, that's not doing a lot of damage.
That did nothing.
Yeah.
This is not looking great for Stefan early on, dude. Maybe we're thinking about getting Gouging Flame out there because they're just taking too much next to their attack stats here.
Yeah. So Zacian doing some impressive work. You know, I think people scoffed at it for not having the damage output that it once had, but still showing that it can wield that sword.
I can do that. I got a sword in my mouth, and I'm not afraid to use it.
Doing
bark, bark.
well over half to a Groudon.
That was insane.
And no Intimidate on Stefan's side, crucially. Going to be able to just shut down Zacian's damage output.
Yes.
Nothing to do that. Secret Sword going out into the Gouging Fire. No burning Bulwark, so no chance of getting a burn there, as a Howl is going to come out, get Gouging Fire back to neutral, and Urshifu down at +1. I think Knockoff going to go into the Gouging Fire, knock off that Covert Cloak, probably more importantly, get a little bit of damage there.
Sure. Yeah, get some chip damage, you know, put it in range of another attack. You're fine here, right? But that Howl, boosting up the stats here of this Urshifu. This is the eggs in the basket that we need right now, and it's going to be on Urshifu's back to do something big. Zacian already put a massive dent into Groudon, taking a KO, putting a ton of damage on this Gouging Fire here. It's an interesting position to be in.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that Stefan didn't, you know, take not a free switch, but a switch out of Groudon to power up the rest of his team, knowing that Sohaib probably doesn't want to keep Pelipper out for long, and, you know, he didn't. Sacred Sword going out into Urshifu, I think Stefan thinking, okay, I'm going to go for a Wicked Blow, expecting Sohaib to go for maybe a Swords Dance, maybe a Protect with that Zacian, but no, just a close combat.
One-hit knockout.
+1 is a one-hit KO. Pull up the graphic, ding ding.
I wish we had that.
Yeah. And another howl from Gouging Fire, just going to keep up the offensive momentum. Going to say, hey, leave me alone, and I'm just going to keep throwing out damage. So Sohaib in a position here where he needs to play around this Urshifu carefully in these mind games. Is it going to go for a Wicked Blow? Is it going to go for a Sucker Punch? So,
speaking of Sucker Punch, we do see Xian Pao coming onto the scene right now. This is kind of threatening for this Urshifu here. Now, luckily for Stefan, we don't have Incineroar in play anymore, so we're not threatening any drops of anything or any switches out in that way. And now, with Xian Pao, doesn't that end up boosting the powers of Urshifu as well? Like,
oh, yes.
Yeah, it sure does. So this is a scary position to be in, absolutely. I'm not sure if Zacian has Quick Attack here for a priority move.
No, but the Xian Pao does have Sucker Punch.
Yes, it sure does.
So it can threaten the Urshifu here, as it was trying to. And Zacian just going to be able to go for a Behemoth Blade into the Gouging Fire, and it is enough for a KO, even with that resisted hit.
Now, the thing here is, Xian Pao, even if it doesn't do anything with this Sucker Punch, the thought and threat of it being in play is the mental damage that we need. Mental damage being a huge part of this game. Now, am I going to continue to press Protect? Am I going to actually attack with this now? Can I possibly KO Xian Pao before they go for Sucker Punch? Which is probably impossible here. Now, this is a tricky position to be in. Do I go for the double Protect and just get taken out by Zacian anyway? There's a lot of options that Stefan has to think about. And can he capitalize on these options without Urshifu?
Yeah. I think the key Pokemon here is that Urshifu, as you keep discussing. Sohaib needs to respect it, but also needs to respect the fact that it could just keep going for Detect while Raging Bolt throws out the damage. So I think Sohaib's best play here is to try to throw out double attacks into the Urshifu.
Yes.
If you land a Sucker Punch, great. The Zacian is going to start hitting the Raging Bolt. If the Detect goes up like it just did, you're going to fail. If that Detect fails, you're going to be able to hit it. So I wouldn't be surprised to see that Sucker Punch fail and then a Sacred Sword go into the Urshifu slot.
Yep. So now it's the damage here from this Raging Bolt. What is he going to do? Thunderbolt's a pretty good move.
It does a lot of damage, but fishing for that paralysis to try to make that Urshifu slower or faster than the Xian Pao.
Hey, you got to play with what you got, right?
Absolutely.
Now, but hey, we can go for that again because clearly you're not threatened by this Pokemon, and I think Raging Bolt could have a good chance in 1v1ing. Okay, we went for the attack after all. I'm not going to play around with the extra Detect. Probably was the best bet here. You always play towards your win count, right? You don't want to just lose value without fighting for it, right? You understand?
Absolutely. And oh my goodness, that +1 Sacred Sword that just stayed on the field.
That's not 1v1ing at all. Yeah, what was I thinking? I thought Raging Bull had a chance. Oh no. Okay, but okay. Maybe we can go for the quick attack, not the quick attack. Thunderclap, excuse me. And we could try that, but it's going to be resistant.
That Terra Grass,
oh my gosh.
That Terra Grass, I don't think that Raging Bolt can do anything, and wishing the weather was a lot brighter, let me tell you.
Oh yeah, for sure. And now, this is an interesting position for Sohaib to be in because they are clearly dominating with what was thought to be not so great of a Pokemon in this format.
Yeah. So, Zacian going for that Sacred Sword here is just going to miss the Raging Bolt KO. Hang on, did Thunderclap fail? I think Stefan clicked.
It was side target Thunderclap.
Yes, okay. So Stefan, knowing that he couldn't win but just wanted to see what Sohaib was going for in this situation, as, when Zacian wins now, it transforms back into its little peaceful form. I didn't know that.
Yeah, you know, the deed has been done. We relax now. Yeah, we settled down.
Sword's not leaving, or no, Sword does leave the mouth. It's like, all right, I can put this down. Enough blood has been shed. Enough HP, I'm sorry. So Sohaib really showing off what Zacian can do, especially with Stefan's team that doesn't have any way to lower Zacian's
attack stat. That's very important. And now, for those who are at home and watching, this is the importance of having an Intimidate user on your team.
Absolutely.
Because these attack stats need to be checked.
Yeah.
Unchecked, you're going to be dealing with a lot of pressure very easily. Imagine if there was Howl on Sohaib's team too.
Oh my goodness.
What? How do you deal with that? Exactly. I'm
imagine
confused.
next format if this was Zacian and Zamazenta next to each other, one using Howl or Iron Defense and the other's using Sword Stance.
Don't say that. That's a lot to deal with. Yeah, that's a lot of pressure.
Yeah. I mean, I think Sohaib played very well defensively, and Stefan went for, you know what, I'm going to get aggressive with my play.
Yes.
I'm going to get very aggressive.
Very
and
aggressive.
I think he's going to have to, not necessarily dial it back, but like you said, the fastest attack lock-ins. I think Stefan's going to have to think about this match a lot more than he was this
It
past
felt good
game.
at the time. You know, honestly, I thought Precipice Blades with that boost was a pretty good play.
Yeah.
But Sohaib covered that play and another play at the same time, and you played into that, right?
Yeah.
So now, got to take our time and think things through a little bit.
Yeah, I'm just... My brain's
Underestimating
thinking back
Zacian.
to 2022.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, did Behemoth Blade always 2-hit KO Groudon?
I don't
And then in my
remember.
head, I'm like, oh, yeah, it didn't if you
Because-
had an Incineroar intimidating you.
Exactly.
But that's just not a possibility for Stefan here.
That's
He's
a
going to
very
have to
scary
find a
thing.
way to be able to he can't mitigate the Zacian's damage. The only way to mitigate it is get rid of the thing.
Yep.
And he's going to need to keep enough gas in the tank to be able to handle a Terra Grass Zacian in rain.
Sometimes the best form of removal is Pokemon removal. Get rid of the Pokemon.
And
Knock
a bit
it
of
out.
a respectful play from Stefan, changing the music from what we had of Groudon's theme. Now I think it's Chien-Pao's theme.
Yeah, that's
if I'm
actually
hearing
quite
correctly.
funny.
Chien-Pao showing who's boss now.
He's like, yes, now I am king. The
Now
lion
I've
king.
got your power. I may be hearing wrong, but I think I'm right. As we don't see Zacian lead this time,
No.
and Groudon and Raging Bolt hit the field, two offensive monsters, but do they have enough to take out an Amoonguss and an Incineroar is the question.
Helping Hand could get us there. Maybe if we use Draco Meteor or something of the sort. Knockoff's going to do a
Knockoff's
sizable
going
amount of
for that
damage.
Raging Bolt.
Wow.
Crucially getting rid of those safety goggles, but a Helping Hand Draco Meteor into Amoonguss, there's no way it's
That's a
surviving that.
knockout. Wow, that's count. That's definitely count.
Absolutely. I think Sohaib going for a cute little play there saying, all right, I don't think I'm going to get doubled here, right?
No,
I'm probably going to take a Precipice Blades and then
A fake out, maybe.
a Draco Meteor. He's going to expect me to fake out. Stefan playing brilliantly around that saying, all right, even if my Groudon gets faked out, I'm throwing out a Helping Hand here.
Ooh, this next turn's going to be kind of wild. Oh, not switching out the Raging Bolt here. Just going to get that, keep that special attack drop, and go for some damage.
Yeah, so I do want to shout out again last play where Sohaib got rid of those safety goggles critically and said,
important.
I think Amoonguss is going to be able to survive. I can put this Raging Bolt to sleep and then take care of it later.
Yeah.
But Stefan not letting that happen. And here, as you called out, Naeem, as we saw from behind Stefan's view, not even letting Sohaib get away with not doing damage to that, or trying to do damage to that slot on a free switch.
Yeah, he got a little too greedy, got punished for it, and this is it. Now, once again, we see the Grass Terra coming out for that defensive value against Precipice Blade. It did wonders in the first game. It's going to do something for us now. And we see the Sword Stance here. That's a lot of attack on this really, really feisty dog.
Yeah. So Precipice Blade's coming out here into the Zacian.
And oh my goodness, the damage on that Incineroar is insane.
That's a critical hit.
On a Zacian. The Will-O-Wisp. Oh no, this is, you hate to see it. Oh, that's not good.
Good.
That's effectively a knocked out Pokemon in my opinion. You can do some damage, I guess, but I don't know, dude. Okay, wait, hold on. Groudon traded up two different Pokemon and provided tons of value.
Yep.
We got our bang for our buck. We're good.
We did.
We're good. Okay, so the burn's not that bad.
The problem. There's a +3 attack, high HP Zacian on the field.
Sure is.
And it only took some of that damage because of a critical hit.
True.
So, I mean...
Scared? A little bit?
Yeah. The thing with Zacian here is, it's fast, it's bulky, and it's hitting hard.
Very.
Stefan's going to have to find a way to navigate this game into a spot where he can continually do enough fast damage into this Zacian before he loses too much momentum. So, going to have to use another one of those Pokemon in the back. I believe we saw Fluttermane. That's going to be a big one.
Yes.
And the single strike Urshifu. As Groudon actually switches out here saying, all right, I need the Sun back. I may be burned, but I can still bring the burn.
Absolutely. And now, of course, there's no opportunity for this Pelipper to switch back in, which means for the remainder of this game, when Groudon comes back, we're playing in the sunlight, baby.
Yep.
So it's a really good play here for Stefan. We're gonna bring it back to the Sash. You know, we never expected, to get knocked out here. It's the Sash. It's got two hits. That's fine. But now, you gotta deal with this Wicked Blow and a Pokemon that no longer resisted.
Yeah, I mean, Pelipper now a bit of a sitting duck.
Duck, because it's like it kind of looks like a duck.
As we don't see any Sucker Punch come out from Urshifu, just gonna get knocked out. As we didn't see Stefan fall for the bait that time, gonna go for a Thunderbolt into this Pelipper and get a one-hit knockout. Woo! As the Sunlight from Groudon is gonna be able to come back out on the field if Stefan wants to go with such a choice, or he could bring in that Fluttermane and switch in that Groudon. So gonna have to do a lot of damage in a relatively small amount of time. Yeah. Zacian can only take out one Pokemon per turn
that's
here.
That's
the big thing.
It doesn't have a move that can hit two targets at the same time. It has to be one at a time. And that's the advantage that's just run here. 3v1 situation is tough.
So we're going to see what booster that Fluttermane is. When it specs, it usually is that speed booster.
Yeah.
But hey, it could be special attack boosting, and in that case, that's a station off the table.
That would be a knockout for sure. Let's see it. Photosynthesis, here's the trigger. This is very good information for Sohaib. It is the speed. So now, Sohaib into the next game can count that into his predictions.
Yeah. So a Terra Fairy here with that Specs Moonblast, I think even with just a speed boost, is going to be plenty enough to take out Zacian. I know it's very, very bulky, but no longer resisting that thanks to the Terra. I think Stefan played around Sohaib's plan from last time a lot better than he did in Game 1. Sohaib also switching it up and not leading Zacian this game, not immediately threatening the pressure. And I think that kind of went to his disadvantage. I mean, that turn one, he had an Amoonguss Incineroar on the field and just let Amoonguss go down. You know, smart play by Stefan, of course. But no fake out coming out.
No fake out.
Wasn't able to get a spore off. Poor Mushroom.
I think that was just unforeseen, right?
Yeah.
Helping hand on a Groudon. Don't you want to do damage with your Groudon?
Yeah.
It's a Groudon. Yeah. Precipice Blade.
You don't expect it. Even when it has it, you don't expect it to be used.
Like
this is a last-ditch effort. Not a turn one
helping hand.
Draco Meteor Amoonguss button.
137.
137?
137. All right. Very important. Very important. Now, this team is working really well for Stefan here. We did see it earlier with Rosemary. They piloted it quite well as well. Very tough team to manage, I feel like. It takes a lot of that brain power to position your Groudon correctly in this format, I believe. Especially when people are like Shadow Rider are just kind of creeping around the corner. You know, it's always tough for a Groudon player, but it looks pretty good here.
Yeah, this is a lot of offensive power. I mean, again, Sohaib playing a lot more of a balanced team. I would say, even with Zacian and Chien-Pao, it looks like balance. You know, you have your Fire, Water, Grass, and Electric in Iron Hands and Jack of all trades. You know, I really don't think it can come to this matchup. I think Sohaib is going to have to stick to his Game 1 game plan.
Zacian.
Going with that Chien-Pao, going with that Zacian. Amoonguss isn't bad.
No, it's not bad.
But seeing it's showing Game 1, you have to be hesitant to bring it again.
I mean, maybe that's the mix, right? But that's not what I would put my money into. Okay, here we go. As he called it, Zacian and that Pelipper back on the stage alongside that Raging Bolt and Groudon, of course. Now, this is going to be insane because we have the pressure of...
Okay, so that's an important thing to note.
That's
Pelipper
insane.
Usually runs a lot of speed nowadays, and Groudon goes a lot slower. I know Pelipper's highest speed stats are 117 and 128, while Groudon bottoms out at 110 and usually goes up to maybe 120. So somewhere in there, that Groudon, as I said, maybe that 120, and that Pelipper probably at that 117. So that rain is up right now. Zacian is defended. Raging Bolt is not boosted, and Groudon is vulnerable to water-type moves.
Here we go. We're locking in our terrestrialization here, and here it comes into this slot with the grass typing. Did you see? Did you see what Stefan did in the first turn?
I did not.
You're gonna find out right now, buddy. Hold on. Okay, protect on the Pelipper. No, stay with me. Stay with me. Okay, here we go. Zacian goes for the sword stance. It's not gonna matter. It's not gonna matter. I saw
Helping Hand, right?
I don't think Helping Hand came out, but we did see Precipice Blades. That's not what's important here.
Talk to me, Naeem.
I don't want to spoil it. I don't want to spoil it. But if you're paying attention at home, it's the Draco Meteor into the fairy slot. Oh, but the Precipice Blades missed. Oh, no damage. Wow. Oh, my gosh.
Even if that Precipice Blades had hit, definitely wouldn't have been enough to take out that Zacian.
It should have been Helping Hand. Should have Helping Handed it.
If it was Helping Hand, that still wouldn't have taken it out impressively.
Oh, you don't think so?
No.
Oh, you might be right.
Yeah, it's 1.5 times boost from that Helping Hand.
Yeah,
so it would have gone down to about 75%. But still, nonetheless, an impressive call out by Stefan, knowing, okay, I have a bit of a pin here. If he doesn't Terra, I'm doing a lot with that Precipice Blade.
Sure.
If he doesn't, I'm not doing anything with Draco Meteor, but I can get away with that.
That's fine. You protected your Pelipper.
Yeah.
Because it's so slow, it doesn't have the sash. I want value.
Yep.
Right? And you were able to use that information to put yourself into a great position. But now Thunderclap's going to come out, not do anything.
A Sacred Sword here. A Sacred Sword into the Raging Bolt here at +3 with the Champ on the field.
Oh,
it's not a one-hit KO!
And that survived that! Another avoided attack on the Precipice Blades! No, what? Oh, that's so unfortunate. You definitely needed that double hit just now, because then you could have at least threatened a knockout with that priority Thunderclap, but now that's not even on the table because twice in a row we missed the Zacian.
I'm freaking out.
I'm freaking out, dude. My heart's pumping.
That was Sword of Ruin.
Yeah.
+3.
Uh-huh.
We saw that do more than half last time, didn't we?
Sure.
With +1.
You rolled the dice and got less. What do you want me to tell you, bro?
I don't know. But it didn't KO. And now Groudon on the field is probably going to be taking a Behemoth Blade, and the Chien-Pao on the field is threatening a Sucker Punch onto the Raging Bolt.
Mind games.
There's so much going on as Groudon going for the Terrifier is going to be able to resist the Behemoth Blade now. So if Sohaib clicks Sacred Sword here, he's going to be calling that Terra. I'm very curious.
Okay, that's a Sucker Punch. Here we go. Thunderclap, that's going to go ahead, do a little bit of damage here, not too much. Okay, so maybe that wouldn't Wow. 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 I can't, dude. What is going on right now? This is the Wild West for sure.
Sohaib, really smart. Let's go over this, right?
Okay, break it down for me, brother.
Raging Bolt's -2 from that first Draco Meteor.
Sure.
You're not threatening much damage on my side,
no.
right? Even if you Thunderclap my Chien-Pao, I'm going for Sucker Punch.
Right.
If you protect Groudon, I'll take the off turn. I still have a full health Pelipper. I still have an unrevealed Pokemon in the back, which I think we can all guess is probably the Incineroar.
Right, sure. Okay,
I can handle this Raging Bolt.
I like that.
This Groudon, though, I'm not messing with it anymore. And now Stefan has a Terra out of the way from Groudon, and a Groudon immediately removed from the field. So Sohaib playing perfectly that turn. Like, we're seeing a great back and forth between some of the best players in North America. I cannot stress that enough.
Regional
probably
top
two of the top. Well, I don't even know if it's top 3 anymore. We have so much talent in Massachusetts. 2 of the top 5 players in Massachusetts that are some of very high level, world caliber players. And Sucker Punch just going in the Raging Bolt on an Urshifu Detect, wanting to preserve its Focus Sash, and the last Pokemon's going to come out on the field as a Mungus switched in for Zacian.
Wow.
Oh my god.
We thought it was Incineroar. That's good. That's good picking. I did not expect to see a Mungus this time around, but hey, it's positioned relatively well. And as a matter of fact, I believe
it's more than relatively well, Naeem. I don't think Urshifu and Fluttermane, without Terra on the Urshifu, are going to be able to do enough damage to the Amoonguss. Not to mention
there's the
that the Urshifu, by default, is going to be able to, or going to be getting rid of its Focus Sash just by hitting the Rocky Helmet.
Oh, right. Rocky Helmet.
So
Well-
a Shadow Ball going to do just over half as Wicked Blow comes out onto the Amogus. Is a
Okay.
KO, but I
Oh!
think that Urshifu might be knocking itself out.
No, Urshifu survived. It has just a pixel of health left. It might as well have had its Focus Sash activated.
Oh my god.
It survived with just enough HP from that Sacred Sword despite the attack raise from Shampao. And now, you're in a perfect position, Stefan.
This isn't over.
It's
This
not
is
over.
not
it's
over
not
by
over.
any
7
means.
HP, is it enough?
I don't know. The Flutter Mane's probably the fastest thing on the field if I had to guess.
Sure.
I know Zacian is pretty fast. It could definitely outspeed the Flutter Mane. But
Okay.
it looks to be pretty bulky based on what I've seen.
Sucker Punch into
Oh,
the it went down the
it's
wrong
gonna fail.
spot. Shadow Ball, is it enough? It's gotta be, right? This is a Flutter Mane we're talking about. Now it's a 2v1 situation.
Absolutely.
No way.
I'm
blown away, dude. I'm
freaking
blown
out.
away.
So Pelipper and Chempao are going to be the last things on the field. Is there going to be enough in the tank for this little Pelipper and this very low HP Chempao? And are the mind games going to be correct? What's the Sucker Punch going to do? What's going to happen here? What is going to get the knockout?
Sucker Punch is definitely coming. There's no way you just don't press that button on Urshifu, right? That's like throwing the game in a way, right? You have to pressure Urshifu or you take an L.
I don't know. I feel like Flutter Mane's almost more of a threat. Like, Stefan positioned himself really well in this endgame. I was thinking, might this be over? But that Rocky helmet just barely getting the survival was so critical. And that Sacred Sword not even bringing it down to Focus Sash has me
baffled. I'm really shocked.
Yeah.
It's not stab, so there is that, right? You don't
Absolutely.
have stab on that move. But
Ice Spinner coming out onto the Flutter Mane.
Oh!
It is not enough to KO. Shadow Ball going into the Chempao is going to be enough to take it out with the KO there, thanks to those choice specs. As Pelipper, the last thing on the field, it's going to be taking a Wicked Blow, but I don't think it has what it can do.
Yeah,
It doesn't
no.
have a double hitting move, and that's enough. Hurricane going into the Flutter Mane is going to be a knockout here, and Urshifu is going to be able to seal the deal, being faster than that Pelipper, being able to hit it for a 2-hit knockout here. Really incredible match.
yeah, very incredible indeed. Both players gave it their all. And you know what? It was 2 game 3, and I'll take that. That's hype in itself.
I think we really have to call out Stefan's adjustments.
Yes,
Game
man.
1, Sohaib looked untouchable with that team. It
Sure,
just went
sure.
absolutely
Sure,
crazy on.
I can give you that.
Game 2, we saw Stefan dial it back.
Reserved, like, okay, my bad, I didn't respect.
And then Game 3 brought some of that aggression back. A Draco Meteor into a Zacian. If you mess that up, you're doing no damage. And with that Precipice Blades missing, we know it would have done no damage
That's
in that
what
turn
we
if
like
it
to
didn't
call
zero.
a pin. There was this no-win situation for you. It was either you're taking this ground damage or you're taking this Draco Meteor. What do you want? What do you want? What's it
Yeah.
going to be? And you chose Draco Meteor, which was the better of the choices, I
Yep.
feel like. So it was still a really great play on Sohaib's part, but that was the call-out.
I'm